Hi everyone, and welcome to the third in the series of the LSN's Ask the Expert videos. I'm Anita Wallace, Chair of the Lymphedema Support Network, and I'm delighted today to introduce you to the LSN's nurse advisor, Denise Hardy, who runs a very busy practice in Kendal, and she's very, very experienced. So I'm delighted that she's agreed to come on with us, and we'll get going on the questions. The next question is, what types of exercise help with lymphedema, particularly as you get older?
Well, I think we both know we can.
I think so.
Oh, as we get older, my goodness me. Well, many people say to me, oh, it's okay, you know, when we talked about healthy eating, it's all right about you're slim, but actually I have to work at being slim.
You've always said this, Denise. Yes, I've always been envious.
And one of the things is actually finding an exercise that you like to do. And you know, I'm not one for going to the gym, if I'm honest. I don't really have the time for that, but equally I do love my cycle, and I just love, and of course living in the Lake District, it's a lovely place to cycle. But having had hip replacements and things myself, my mobility is not great. So I have not a static cycle, an electric cycle. That's more like it. But I use that to go up the hills, to assist me going up the hills, and that has really made me go out and do it more because I enjoy it now. Whereas before I didn't really have anything that I like to do. So I think anybody who's thinking of exercising, and we encourage all our patients to exercise, is actually finding something that they like to do. So think about that before you actually sort of enroll in a gym that you'll probably waste a lot of money on and never go to. But as we know, exercise and lymphedema is really important. The lymph system doesn't really move without us moving, and therefore it's really a very, very important part of encouraging our patients to do that on a daily basis. We need, if possible, to try and get our heart racing a little bit through exercise. That's called aerobic exercise. And again, a lot of our patients who perhaps have heart problems or whatever are very scared about doing that because they think if their heart's beating faster that, well, you know, it's scary. But actually it is good for us. And again, we work with the Heart Foundation to get exercises that are suitable for those types of patients.
Yes.
Things that increase the heart rate, it doesn't have to mean running a marathon. It just means perhaps doing exercises in your chair. Arm raisers, for example, with cans of beans, if you've got no dumbbells that you could use, just to raise that heart rate a little bit, will help to move the muscles and the limbs and get that heart beating. And that's important as one of the types of exercises to do. The other things, though, that we like to do with our patients is to get them stretching, moving the limb and stretching it out. And things like yoga are really helpful for that, Pilates and Tai Chi. And those are the types of things that we recommend. And certainly you can get lots of DVDs. There are lots of programs, particularly during COVID lockdown. I think it's been much more widely introduced now, and it's available for many more people, including the elderly, including those who perhaps can't get to classes, but who can do them in their own armchair. And there are lots and lots of information that we can give to people to help with that, and certainly we do. We find we get exercises for different people at different stages in their lymphedema too, and we sort of build on it to try and get them fitter and fitter as much as possible. So using light weights we introduce, as I say, whether that be a bag of sugar or a tin of beans, or just a little small dumbbells, 2-pound dumbbells are really helpful just to actually keep moving. So we introduce those sorts of things. We try and get people to walk more, to actually move more. You don't have to exercise. You don't have to do star jumps and, you know, jump up and down all the time to actually increase your movement. And one of the things I think has become popular recently in our British Lymphology Society and keeping moving, it's Find 3 Minutes, it's called. I don't know whether you've heard of this. But it's thinking about things about how you can actually boost your lymphatic system. So for example, if you're waiting for the kettle to boil, it's about thinking what you can do while you're waiting for the kettle to boil.
Yes, I confess I've paced the kitchen while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil.
Or if you're waiting on a telephone call and you're waiting and the music's playing, you could actually jig along to the...
Yeah, keep moving.
Yeah, or if you're waiting in the car and the traffic lights are on red and you're stuck there, or if you're in a traffic jam, or if you're on the motorway, there are things you can be doing in the car to keep you moving. Waiting for a document to download, for example, or if you're waiting in a queue, it always reminds me, you remember, I can't even remember the name of the film now. They were in the dole queue. You know the film. I can't remember. And he was.
Are we talking about the Full Monty?
Yes, that's the one. And
we don't recommend people doing that, though.
No, absolutely. I'm certainly not doing it. But just moving in any which way you can in those sort of circumstances, waiting for the toast to pop up. Any movement you can do in those times will stimulate the lymphatic drainage system.
Yes. I think it actually, sorry to interrupt, Den, I think it actually says in our recreational exercise and movement fact sheet, it almost doesn't matter what you do as long as you keep moving. Even hoovering the house, I now don't begrudge hoovering, you know, it's all part of my exercise regime. I love walking, I do yoga, I get up from my computer and walk around every hour. Just try and keep moving. Yeah, it's so beneficial.
The same for those who've got a sedentary job. You know, there are things that you can put under your desk. You can get a static cycle, for example, that you can keep under your desk. You can even now, and this is not exercise, but you can get a hammock that goes under the desk that you actually raise your feet, and then you can do ankle turns and things to actually keep your legs moving.
Yeah.
But even for those who are more elderly and, you know, quite infirm, then you can still do these very gentle exercises in the chair. And there are lots of programs available and lots of handouts and literature that you can give to people to help them. And resistance as well is another thing. We give a lot of these, they're called therabands, that we give to our patients, which offer a resistance when you're trying to do an exercise. You don't have to buy those. You could use an inner tire from a wheel, inner tube from a wheel. That sort of thing can be really helpful for people. One of the commonest questions we get from the LSN is the use of a circulation booster.
Oh yes, that's true. Yes,
it's a common question, isn't it? And
it is indeed.
Just literally putting your feet onto a plate and it sort of wobbles and vibrates. And yes, that's great if somebody hasn't got muscle movement, but moving is much better than just doing that. So
and much cheaper.
Much cheaper. So absolutely. But swimming is another one. Again, we're very lucky here in Kendal that we have got a hydrotherapy pool, which our patients can be referred to. And even those who are unable to walk can actually move in water. Everything becomes easier in water. So if you're able to get into a pool, and I appreciate that some people with swollen limbs might not want to do that.
Not everybody's thing.
No, but in the safety of a place like a hydrotherapy pool, it's often easier. But water is brilliant for lymphedema. And we've got, again, lots of exercises that we can give and share to our patients. And then there are other things that are coming into play now. One of them I know of is called LymphActive, which is a program that you can join on to that gives you ideas of what to do, as you say, within the home. Hoovering or dusting or gardening is another one.
Absolutely.
Just simple movement, general things that we take for granted every day is something that will help that lymphatic system to drain more efficiently.
Yeah.
So we do give remedial exercises. That's really important to actually stimulate the lymphatic system around the swelling, around the lymphedema. But we also encourage recreational exercise. That's terribly important as well. But as I say at the beginning, it's finding something that you really like to do that will...
And you're more likely to stick to it. Yes. And maybe buy an inexpensive step counter. I've got one here. Aim to do my 10,000 a day. Doesn't always work, but that's my aim. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's crucial, isn't it? And building up.
Yes,
And I think
definitely.
again, years ago, when I started in lymphedema, you know, we weren't encouraging people to exercise like we do today. We were very reticent about it. We were, you know, if somebody loved tennis and they had developed lymphedema as a result of breast cancer, we'd have said, oh, I don't think we should be doing that anymore.
No.
But now we do. But the big thing is that you gradually build up to doing more.
Yes. Build up gently to any new exercise you undertake, and
cool
just
down.
and just do and cool down, and just keep moving, basically.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you, Denise.